Hi, welcome to BRIM anti-bullying software. Today I'll be taking you on a tour of how the BRIM software program works for both the individual that will be reporting and then for your administration as to how they will do their investigation through our portal. Let's begin. BRIM has an app that is on both the Google and Apple Store. But for today's intent and purpose, we will be doing this on our website. So if you go to antibullyingsoftware.com and you scroll all the way to the bottom, we're going to report bullying in the United States. We'll click here. For today's purposes, we'll be using one of our demo accounts. It's a school that is in Arizona. All the way over here, it is in Sunnyvale Unified, and we'll be reporting into Sunnycrest High School. You'll see three buttons that come up. We've got our bullying button, we have our safety concerns, and we have our new button, which is feelings of isolation and suicidal ideation. For today's purpose, we will be going through the bullying app, but I want to touch on our safety concern button and our feelings of isolation button. The safety concern button is an optional button for schools and school districts that can be mostly regards to maintenance issues. Maybe there's a crack in the sidewalk that people keep tripping over, or there's a leak in one of the classrooms. They can report that issue here. You can assign your maintenance department to receive these reports so that they can go forward and fix those problems. The feelings of isolation button is very similar to the bullying button, with the exception that when you click on it, the 1-800 hotline for suicide prevention number comes up. If they click on it with their phone, it'll automatically dial and connect them to a live person who can help them. Otherwise, they can go ahead and continue through and do their reporting. But for today, let's click on bullying. So we have our description of what's happening. So we're going to keep this pretty simple for today. There are a minimum number of characters that you would put in. So we're just going to put in, this is a test for today. Then we're going to go to the location of the bullying where it's taking place. We're going to say the lunch area. I'm going to get to in our portal where you can actually customize each of these locations. We're going to put in our date of the incident. And who are you that's reporting? Are you the victim, a friend, a classmate, etc.? So we're going to go ahead and state that they are the victim. And we're going to confirm that you're not a robot and report incident. Now, this takes care of your state and the United States requirement for anonymous reporting. Every state has to have an anonymous reporting function for people to report bullying. That does not mean that we can't ask them additional questions if they choose to fill this information in. So we are going to go ahead and we'll put in some information here. What's your name? Do you want to be contacted? Your phone number, your email. We're going to hit save and next. BRIM allows for the upload of videos, files, screenshots. So if somebody's being cyberbullied, they can upload those files directly into here. How long has it been going on? We'll say it's been going on for weeks. What type of behavior is taking place? We're going to just say name calling. Save and next. And do you know the names of your alleged bullies? So we're going to just go with Jack Quinn and hit save and next. Were there any witnesses that you know of? So we're going to say Hannah was a witness. Save and next. And was anyone notified about the incident? We're going to just say that I was for purposes for today. And then what was the time of the incident? So it's happening in the lunchroom. So let's say that it's happening around 12 o'clock. And then we're going to hit save and next. So we have filled in as much information as we're comfortable providing. You're going to get a confirmation code. This confirmation code is going to be saved mostly by probably parents or caregivers of the children who want to be able to follow up on what's happening with their report. So, and I'm going to show you how you can use this number here in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and copy it. So now, where did that report go? We're going to go over into our admin portal. So quick little snapshot here. Let's go ahead and refresh. Okay. The very first thing that we see is we have this report that we just put in, instantly shows up. This is also going to be emailed to whoever you designate as the person to receive these incidents. So they'll be getting an email, it'll show up directly into their portal. Before we dive into the incident, I want to point out a few things here. If you are the district admin and you've got several schools that are using BRIM, in a glance, if you click on this district admin, you'll be able to see how many incidents are open, total number of incidents, your staff members, etc. You can scroll down by school. If I clicked on those particular schools, it would take me directly into that school's portal. Here is where you, if you wanted to go specifically to another school, you could click on it here in your drop down. And if you needed to change your language, we have that here. Also on your dashboard is your some reported incidents that need your review. So every state has a compliance time frame that a report needs to be opened and under investigation from the time that it is received. This is going to give you a bird's eye view of any incident that is past that compliance date that needs attention. So this is going to be great for keeping your staff accountable for when incidents are sitting there that have gone left unopened. Right here is where we're going to put in that reference number. And we come right up here. So you remember the reference number that we spoke of earlier that parents are going to reference? This is how you would be able to identify it. So if I go ahead and I click in here, here is the incident. We've got the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to change your incident from open to in progress. Just by clicking on the button, it does it for you, instantly changes it to in progress. Now, perhaps you want to assign another staff member to this incident. You can do that right in here. We'll click update. So some key things to take a look at here is we've got our incident description is going to show up right here. Obviously, we hope that there's more than this is just a test that they put in. You're going to have the location of where the bullying is taking place. You're going to have your alleged bullies. I must not have hit save and next after I put duration, bully donation, I'm sorry. Was staff notified? What was the behavior? Were there any witnesses? And we don't ask parents, we don't ask the victims or the witnesses to determine what the severity is or what the motivation is. That's going to be up to you and your staff and your experience. So we'll just go ahead and click on our little pen and paper, and we can actually enter that information in here. So after reading through, maybe you recognize who the student is, maybe you know that that student's parents might be going through a divorce, and you understand that they're really just doing this for attention. So we can go ahead and click on attention as their motivation, and the severity is just moderate. We'll click on that. Your grade level is going to be tied to your students as you import them in. So if we had Jack Quinn, or we had the victim's name, they would be tied in. We'd know exactly what grade they are. But if we know that Jack Quinn is in 7th grade, we're going to go ahead and put 7th grade here. We've already determined that name calling, and we'll hit update. So all of that information gets entered in here. I forgot to do bully duration. So here we're going to have who it was submitted by, phone number, do they wish to be contacted, who's your alleged bully, your witnesses, were any staff notified, and then your bully duration. We're going to go ahead and update that for weeks. Now, every single page has internal comments that are kept in chronological order. So we'll just go ahead and put in some comments on here. This is an open investigation, and we'll add that comment. And this will follow each particular page so that whoever's involved in the investigation is going to be able to see the internal comments that are made on that particular report. Next, we're going to go into our interventions. Our interventions could be after school tutorial, maybe they need to speak with a counselor, detention, definitely a parent conversation that needs to take place. So we're going to go ahead and give detention and 2 weeks detention. When do we want this detention to start? We're going to say it's going to start on, let's go the 27th. And it will end in 2 weeks from there. So we'll go, let's say the 13th. The date that's completed. Now, every school might have a different idea as to what they want to put in here, but I like waiting until the detention has been served to put that date completed in. Also, in terms of your in progress, you can, once detention's been given to a student, or you've talked to the student, you can put your in progress to completed, or you wait until the detention is actually done and you can then change your progress to completed. That's entirely up to you. So we'll go ahead and hit create. Your final investigation. So it could be that we've had here, we're going to change it now to closed. We have taken action. Detention was completed. Parents were spoken with, and Sean is getting outside counseling. All right. Who do we want to send the investigation details to? Now, we can send them to the parents if you want, or maybe your superintendent only wants to be made aware of any closed investigations. So you could put their email in here, and then they would be notified of this closed investigation. Entirely up to you who you want those details sent to. We'll hit save. Now, your external communications are your letters that would be going out to the parents. We have letters for both the alleged bully, the bystander, the peer, or the victim. So if we did this and we hit add, we have the alleged bully's parents' email address. They're going to get an email about what was going on. If we know the bystander, the bystander's parents will get an email. If the victim we've got their name, their parents' email address, they'll get an email. And I'll show you those templates here just momentarily. And again, you've got your internal comments so you can see exactly what's going on. Here, you can add additional staff. Maybe it's Miss Peppers who is responsible for monitoring the lunchroom. Maybe we want her to be involved in this investigation. You could invite her here. And here are the files. Maybe some, whoever reported this also had a video of the bullying taking place. This is where those files would be located. This is also a great place to upload. Maybe Sean's on an IEP. You can upload the IEP in here so that whoever's a part of the investigation is aware that he's on an IEP and that there are certain things that they need to be looking for specifically. All of that can go here. And that is taking on a incident from beginning to end. Okay, let's go ahead. We've got the report incident. This follows exactly as we had on the website, also on the app. You can go ahead and enter in what's happening. We have a form that I'm going to show you here that can be printed out, that can be set up at your front office, that maybe somebody who's not as technologically savvy is going to be able to fill this out. They'll hand it into your administration. Your administration can enter it in here, and then you begin your investigation. But this way, you've got a constant tracking of any incident that comes in. Here are your students, where you can either view your students or you can add your students. We have schools that are really kind of 50-50 as to whether or not they add all of their students in the very beginning, or they only add them as incidents are occurring. It's entirely up to you. It makes it a little cleaner when you're only adding them in as it happens, so you're not having to scroll through multiple, hundreds of students at a time. But again, that's entirely up to you. If you do decide that you want to add all of your students, we ask that you follow this template into an Excel spreadsheet and export your information, and then send that list to us, and we will gladly import all of your students for you. The same way goes for your staff. You can either add in all of your staff, or you can add them individually, or again, an Excel spreadsheet. You can share all of that information with us and we'll put that in for you. Just make sure that you're following this format. Do you want to make sure the staff member is able to log in to the BRIM portal, and do they receive incidents when new incidents are reported? So check, yes or no on those. Okay, now we're going to get into my favorite part, which is our reporting system. Hands down, and I might be a little biased, hands down, I think our reporting capabilities far exceed any other company's reporting capabilities. But we're going to just do a quick little overview here. And then we dive into our charts. You can do these by student. You can set them out by date if you want. And you can start to see how many incidences are being reported, your location of incidents, the behaviors. This is going to be a great teaching tool for maybe your counselors, your motivations, and your time of day. Next, we have your staff involvement, your alleged bullies, your victims, your bystanders, and your peers. You also have your staff involvement. How many incidents have your staff reported? How many are owned by your staff? How many have been assigned tasks in a particular incident and steps? So the reason this is an important area for you is that maybe I've got, 10 incidents that I'm working, but I've only been able to get through, 3 or 4. I've got some that are still in progress, but I can't get them to close because I've got just too many that I'm investigating. So at that point, maybe as the administrator, you can start assigning to some extra incidents to your downward trickle funnel. So maybe John needs to get a couple of mine, or if John's full, maybe Paul. So you keep on trickling down until it's a nice balance, so that not one particular person is in charge of investigating all incidents, especially if they're not getting closed and investigated in a timely manner. You have your participant breakdowns by bullies and victims, your gender. All of this information will be coming in when you enter in your students over here. And then you've got by ethnicity. You have your incidents by grade. Those pre-kindergartners, they're a rough bunch. But you can see here. And then you can export your incident details. So let's say that you have a parent-teacher conference with Sean's parents. So if I wanted to go in here, and I don't have Sean in here, but let's say I wanted to export all of Jim's incidents, I could start his start date and his end date, export. It'll export into an Excel file that I can share with the parents so they know exactly what's going on. All right, now we get into our settings and our configure fields. So in our configure fields and incident steps, there are unlimited capabilities to customize these areas specifically to your school. So for example, I mean, we can do incident statuses, you can do your behavior. I like pinpointing on locations because I have one particular school district, one of their elementary schools has 32 buses that drop off and pick up children from that elementary school. And they've decided to put every single bus in on these locations. So when I go into their screen, they've got bus number 12, bus 15, bus 24, bus 37, bus, etc. So we've never run out of room as far as adding in areas, and you would just continue to add those in. But maybe you don't have a gymnasium. You can take that one out, etc. Maybe you've got an elementary school that every single teacher has their own classroom, and you want to designate it by Mrs. Pepper's classroom or Mr. Smith's classroom. You can do all of that so that it's very precise, so that students can pick exactly where the incident is occurring. And location is important because if you're seeing a trend of bullying happening in those particular areas, what a great opportunity to maybe have another adult in that area in those specific times to help combat these incidences from occurring. Your email notifications. Who do you want on every incident that comes in? Who is going to get emailed? Okay. Typically, we don't have a lot of people who get notified right out of the gate. This might be 2 or 3. It might be your principal, your vice principal, and maybe your school counselor or your school psychologist. So you would enter those emails in here. Your letter templates are right here. So we've got your student exhibiting bullying behavior, and we've got the student victim in an incident. When I click on this, you've got your form right here. It's very boilerplate. We don't want you to have to recreate the wheel every single time to create the letter to send out to the parents. So it's going to automatically pull this information. But if you want to customize this a little bit more, please feel free to. Here is your compliance. So again, it's going to be important for you to know what your state compliance is. If it's 3 days, 5 days, 20 days, whatever. I like the 3-day compliance rule. The 3-day compliance rule basically means that if somebody reports on Friday, that report's going to be opened and it's going to be in progress by Monday. So this is an important step to figure out what you want that to look like before you start getting that red ribbon on your dashboard that says, hey, these things are out of compliance. You need to get on these and get in the investigation started. You've also got the ability to hide old incidents. So maybe you're hiding it from the previous school year or maybe from the previous semester. That's entirely up to you. You can also bring them back just by changing the date. This button right here is not for you. What this is going to do is we use this button on our end if you want to have the safety button, for instance, that I showed you earlier. If you want that, we also have another button for a different package that might be, a technology problem. So somebody who's having problems with their Chromebook, they can put their report in there. So that's what we're using that for. So now if I go down to my help menu, we've got our adding the link to BRIM on your school website. So you're going to give this to your tech person so that they can put it in. Here's your button right here. We ask, we beg, we pray that you will put this button somewhere that is easy to locate, and make sure that that button and your code gets checked pretty frequently. Codes get broken so easily. I can't tell you the number of times that I have gone to, a school's website and I've clicked on their bully button or their bully link to report, and it's a PDF form to sign up for a potluck, or the button's broken, or you get that 401 code. So just keep in mind that this is something that needs to be tested every once in a while, because, your technical people are humans, and that code can get broken. It could, something could get inserted in its place. So we want to check it every once in a while. Here are ways that you're going to be able to promote BRIM, just some ideas. You've got your Twitter and Facebook, and then ways to promote it online. Okay. Ways to communicate BRIM. Your tools and resources. So we have a training manual. If this demo wasn't enough of a lesson, you can download the training manual. We've also got posters that you can print out and put around your school. Here's the website button again. We've got a newsletter example that can go out to your parents introducing BRIM. And then this is the incident reporting form that I was telling you about, that you can print out, have up at your front desk for your less technologically savvy individuals. And the QR code will connect you to both either the Apple or the Google store. That'll take you directly to the BRIM app, so that it's easy to find, easy to download. All you need to do is find your state, find your school district, find your school, and that becomes your locked in spot. And then last but not least, if you have any problems, you just click on that request support and you're going to get me. My name is Carmel Clark. I am the Vice President of Client Services. If I can't fix it, I have a team of technical staff that will be able to. That is our tour of BRIM. I hope this was helpful. If you have any additional questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. My email address, let's go back in here again, just in case. Request support, carmel@antibullyingsoftware.com, or you can reach me at 1-800-524-7395. We look forward to hearing from you, and we really appreciate you wanting to work on combating bullying in your school. Take care.